Welcome back to another episode of Artist to Artist presented by Artist Republic. I'm Nick. That is Christian. And please remember, it would be pretty cool if you gave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcast or wherever you get your podcasts. But either way, whether you give us a review or not, we're still going to give you the breakdown. So, Christian, what's in the news today?
Great question. So I found this article pretty recently. It looks like Universal Music Group, or UMG for short, in Q1 of this year, on average, generated about $1 million per hour. Kind of breaks it down and says that in the quarter, they made 2.20 billion, which was equivalent to about 24.5 million a day, which then equates down to about $1 million an hour. That's pretty insane. And it looks like their top results were streaming. What do you think about that?
Well, so I actually read a more significant report the other day, actually with Warner Music Group, again, in that, which is in 2020, Warner Music did $6 billion in total record label sales or record music sales. And independent music artists in 2020 did $8.6 billion. So that technically means, going off of that, the independent music industry generates $1 million every hour.
More than that, I would say.
Yeah, more than that. So I'll give it to Warner, but more importantly, I'll give it out to the independent artists out there listening out there, because think about that. Every single one of them, every single independent artist in this world is generating more money than Warner Music Group. And that's why we have Artist Republic. Yeah. Hell yeah. That's where I'll leave it at that. So with that, Christian, if you don't have anything else, let's bring in two amazing people onto this podcast. One is a dear friend, Jeff Menig, and the other one is Ryan, who you may know more importantly as Tuck O'Leary. Jeff is an entertainment industry professional with years of experience in band management, live events, merchandising, consulting, artist development, marketing, the whole 9 yards. In addition to that, on the other hand, Ryan, who's hopping on the podcast today, is the lead bassist for a band that some of you might have heard of, which is called Fit for a King. And more importantly, both of them were the original co-founders of Featured X, which is a company that is now a part of Artist Republic. So check out Featured X, an Artist Republic company, at featuredx.com. And more importantly, let's welcome these two power animals of entertainment tycoons into the podcast.
I love to start these things off just by getting kind of a quick overview of our guest and how they got to where they're at today. I don't know which one of y'all want to start. Jeff, maybe Tuck, it's up to you. But let's just kind of go through and talk about yourselves.
Sure, absolutely. I'll give that a start. I was in a hardcore band in high school, and we couldn't figure out how to play shows. So somebody jokingly suggested I should just be a promoter and put on my own shows, because then I could put my own band on. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So started doing DIY shows in high school, did that for 4 years. That parlayed into taking over the Poughkeepsie, New York area scene and doing all the club shows there for a long time, which then led to working on music festivals like the Bamboozle and Skate and Surf, which then led to some management, which then led to everything else that where I am at now, basically.
Sweet.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Best way to start in the industry, host concerts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of how we met. I just never took it as seriously as Jeff did. So similar route. Jeff and I both grew up in this really small town called Red Hook in New York and upstate. And when I was in high school, I was in bands. I started playing shows in Poughkeepsie, selling tickets for the shows that Jeff was hosting. And then I also started hosting my own shows at the Red Hook's Elks Lodge. And that's when Jeff started working with me a little bit. Like, he kind of took me under his wing, taught me some things, and helped me to put on better shows, brought in more notable bands. And then I just continued on playing in bands until my last one stopped, and I was like 23, played some solo shows from 23 to 25. And then Jeff and my friend Chris, who had been working with a couple other bands introduced me to a band called Fit for a King from Dallas, Texas. And I ended up joining that band and now been with them for like 7 years now. And yeah, that's pretty much my main gig is just playing breakdowns in a metal band. But yeah, that's it for the most part.
I like that. And I think, yeah, no, this is the first time, Christian, we've ever had any sort of people from the metal industry on Artist. So this is going to be really fun. So first thing I want to dive into is kind of what you said there, Ryan, which is you got introduced to a band and then you joined the band.
Yes.
So for people that don't understand how the metal world works, is it like just like employment? Like, hey, there's a band and they're looking for this person. I'm that person, so I can audition and join?
Yeah, it can be depending on the situation. That actually happens with just a lot of bands in general. I would say that the hiring of session musicians happens more in pop and rock and like the bigger genres where it is a solo artist with an accompanied band. But for instance, my band, they were, we were all around the same age. I'm just 1 year older than them. They had put out their first record. The band didn't really make a lot of money. They just toured a lot and were trying to get out there. Started to have some hype, but nothing crazy. And the old bass player bailed. So they just needed someone who was going to be a good fit for the band and was down to like, yo, we're all in on this together and we're just going to hit the road and go for it and make records and shit. So it wasn't like at first, like for instance, when our guitar player, Bobby, he still writes the music with us, does music video and stuff, but he's got 3 kids, so he doesn't tour with us anymore. And when he stopped, we hired a couple guitar players to just like play with us for a while until they really gelled. And then we picked Daniel, who's our guitarist now. And he's just stuck with us where then he's just a member of the band and stuff. We're not trying to keep, because we want everyone to enjoy themselves and get a piece of the pie. You know what I mean? It's just, we all played for $100, $150 a night, sleeping in the van for a really long time. So now that things are cooking, it's like, all right, you got to like earn your keep. But once you earn your keep, then it's cool.
You're a part of it.
Yeah. So I got lucky,
Speaking of earning your keep, Jeff, I'm going to go over to you with hosting concerts because this is the world that I know inside and out. What's your advice? Because I always tell that to people. I say, like, people always ask me, like, oh, how do I get my foot in the door of the music industry? I'm like, live shows, hosting concerts, working with concerts. There's always something you can do with that because there's so much people. So my question for you is, we both started in high school hosting concerts at local things. Mine was some nonprofit in my town called the Arts Barn. And, so from your standpoint, there's definitely more of us out there in the world that are in high school or in college and are like, I need a way to make money. I want to get into the music industry. I don't know how to host a concert. What's your advice for those people that are like, how to get into hosting concerts? Like, I just say, just do it, but like, it's deeper than that.
Is it deeper than that though? Like, honestly, the way to get into any sort of entertainment field is to just do it. Like, if you want to be in a band, you have to do it. You have to go learn an instrument. Then you have to go do it. You have to go find other people to, you know what I mean? So it's just like, I also think people probably overthink everything, where it's just like, have you been to a party before? Who threw the party? How did they throw the party? Like, throw a party and have musicians play the party. Like, it's not that complicated. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think doing it is the appropriate answer, unfortunately.
Because
I don't think going to school for music industry is necessarily a good thing either. I think finding either just starting to throw your own events or finding a local band that you legit believe in and just start helping them. Help them book more shows, help them sell their merch, go on tour with them and tour manage them. Just do whatever you can, meet as many people, and you just have to taste as much as humanly possible.
Because even looking back on the way that like I started booking and in the time period that I did and some stuff that you did when you were younger, like my booking in Elks Lodge and having local bands was as simple as okay, well, I'm just gonna get a bunch of cool bands from the area, tell them like, well, I'll give you gas money if you come out and play. My parents would sign off on me to be able to use the Elks Lodge and rent it out for like $300 and be like, yeah, I'll pay you back when I'm done. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a kid. And
Exact same thing I did.
yeah, and once you start learning how to do that, and you can make some good money. That's how I funded my bands in high school, and that's why I did it, so that way we could actually like, pay to make good recordings and do stuff. But once you get comfortable with that, then you'll gradually like Jeff came into my life and then started bringing in just some smaller tours. And then he did all the shit that he did, which is that next tier of like, now I'm just bringing all of these different tours regularly into a venue. But it's a stepping stage, but you have to just do it. Like Jeff said, you can't pander around. Well, I think it would be cool to be a promoter. Just put on a show with your friends.
Yeah.
The worst thing you can do is sit around and talk about it.
Yeah. Just do it.
Just fucking do it.
Add in a great gift there, Jack. We're just like, just do it.
Plus, it's a great position because you make solid money and everybody else plays. Like, it's a good exchange.
The first show I ever booked, I overpaid all of the bands by like 25 to 50% of what I was supposed to pay them, and I still made $1,000.
Yeah. And when you do,
so that's how I was just like, ding, light bulb moment. I'm not going to college. I'm just going to keep doing this. Like,
and you're also like the king because you're making money throwing parties for a living.
Yeah, correct.
Everyone wants
there was that. It got to that point for sure. Yeah, the king of Poughkeepsie.
Yeah. You're definitely like, I get paid to throw parties for a living. Like, I have the sickest job in the world. So
the most money I ever made in one day was doing a foam party with Barstool.
Oh,
that night was bonkers.
Okay, so we have to hear this story because was it a part of the? I think I can curse my own show. It was a part of the fucking foam tour, correct?
Correct. Yeah,
okay.
I had done 2 blacklight parties with them prior at our 900 cap room, and both had sold out very quick. Both were 2 of the most insane nights I've ever experienced. And then so we have some very good friends in a band called Our Last Night. They're one of the biggest bands in our scene now, and at the time they were still young and on the come up. And was this the time where I had them play 2 nights in a row, Tuck?
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
So they
slept over and shit.
Yeah, they were from New Hampshire. They live in Nashville now, but they were from New Hampshire at the time. And we had them played with Craig Owens' band at the time, Drugs, and then the very next night do a headliner. And that same night of the headliner, 2 blocks down the road at the 3,200 capacity room is where we did the foam party. So we took the band and a bunch of people from that show down to the foam party afterwards, and it was just insane.
Good times.
Yeah, there was like 2,500 people there at $50 a pop.
Yeah,
cool.
Well, I've seen the YouTube videos because at that time I was in 8th grade. I was not allowed to go. But I have seen the YouTube videos, and I have hosted my own foam parties, and I can safely say they all turn out the same.
Yeah, there's a show.
So going off of that though, concerts, live shows, touring. Both of you have been at the bottom grounds of touring as nobodies.
Correct.
So the question is, for all the people out there that are like, I am a nobody, how do I tour?
Well, I think I'd say I am more hesitant on telling people to tour necessarily these days until they have more of a following on the internet, because if it's going to take, it's going to take. Now, there are bands that really hit the ground and are able to tour a lot, and that's what helps break them. And I think that it's a combination of the two. Now, a band that I'm going to use as an example from our scene, I think that, in the long run is a great example of something like Pierce the Veil, where sometimes you have to do something over and over again, and you know that your sound is sick, and you know that what you're doing is badass, but people just don't get it yet. And then eventually it takes and your band blows up. Now, to coincide with touring, I would say you have to put as much equally into the digital side of things as you do the road these days, because you'll get better tours more quickly. For instance, like the band that we manage, Left to Suffer, hasn't toured very much, but they're starting to get good tour offers, and that way they'll be able to get on the road and, you know, have it be a little bit more sustainable. But that doesn't mean wait until you're getting offered $500, $1,000 a night to go play. Like, if it's $100 and you know you can play in front of a crowd, go fucking do it. Like, you need to go play in front of as many people as humanly possible, but also focus on your local scene. You know, one of the best things I ever did was get to know my local promoter, who was Jeff, who got me on better shows, which made my band more popular. So my local band, who didn't tour very much, still drew like 250 people. Yeah. I think you're muted, Nick.
Look at that.
There we go.
Yeah, I don't think touring is as necessary as it was when we were coming up.
It is how I make all my money, for sure.
Right.
You know.
But yeah, you know, because like you said, because of the internet, I would focus there. And then once there's demand from kids to see your band play live, then you're going to get more offers. But until the demand is there, you can't think that you're going to give the supply when nobody gives a crap yet.
Because the other thing is, too, you don't have to be the most popular band on the internet for an agent to want you. You have to be really good. There's a difference. Like, there are bands that it doesn't take them to 200,000 monthly listeners and touring 5 times around the US before they get a good agent. Sometimes it's just like they hear that one song and everyone's like, yo, this fucks. Like, I have to have that band.
Yeah.
And that shit happens. Like, it's a 50-50 thing. So, you know, I think that the number one most important thing for a young artist to work on these days, especially in the era of everyone wanting to have a home studio, which like I do, and I love to make demos, but the reason why my band is successful is because I go to sick producers and I have my shit sound like $1 million. Because if you don't go and do that, it's just not really going to compete with everything else that I'm hearing. And that's just the way audio works. Like, we're all used to a pristine level of audio coming into our brains at all times, and when you hear a turd, you know it's a turd. So it doesn't matter how great the song is if the recording doesn't match up to it. So the first thing I would say is focus on finding a producer. And this doesn't have to be a super big producer. It's just got to be someone that makes great recordings. And I've seen that in all different variations, but quality over quantity all day.
Yeah, an issue in our scene is bands touring too soon because it's like a vacation. It's fun. But then they go out on the road and they come back and, okay, we just lost X amount of money. And it's like, okay, now the product that you're trying to market is going to be worse because you're not going to this better producer. You're just doing it yourself. And, you know, their videos aren't as good. And it's just weird backwards spiral thing. Because they think that they have to tour and they think that's like the best thing ever, where sure, it's fun, but you have to have a little bit more patience and wait to do it when you know that you're going to at least break even.
It's like the classic funnels of marketing.
Yeah.
It's like, get people to like know who you are, get them to click your website, and then get them to buy something. Like,
correct.
Get people to figure out who you are. Then get them to listen to a song. Then get them to come to a concert.
Right.
Yes.
They go straight to the concert first, and they go straight to the concert with a full merch spread. And it's just like, why are you trying to sell people merch when you haven't even convinced them to be a fan yet?
And we're not saying don't play, but play good local shows for people that could possibly like your band. You have to remember at first Nobody gives a flying fuck about you. Nobody cares about your band. You have to make people care about your band. It's not like they can't or shouldn't, but it takes effort. So, you do the digital marketing side, but then
Yeah.
also you live in Atlanta and you're seeing at the Masquerade that, you want to open up for Fit for a King because they're the greatest goddamn metalcore band you've ever heard in your life. Then you got to hit up that promoter or somebody that works at that venue. And if you got to sell 50 tickets to go play that show, you do it. Why? Because you're going to play in front of a shit ton of awesome people. And then your life is going to be better. All because you played for Fit for a King.
I love this whole conversation that we're talking about here. I think this is a really good topic to kind of stay on.
Fit for a King?
Yes, Fit for a King. So let's just keep talking about it. Well, I think a lot of the people that listen to our podcast, and, this is just largely our demographic in general as Artist Republic, is individual artists, right? We have a lot of hip hop artists, rappers, things like that.
Yep.
Not a lot of bands, kind of like what Nick talked about at the very beginning. And I love how we're getting this perspective from the band side of things. A little bit about me, like I came up through the EDM side of the industry. And as a lot of people might know, EDM, it's very easy to tour as an EDM guy. You have to bring a USB stick. That's it. You don't have to bring a bunch of equipment with you. And that kind of that keeps the cost really low for a lot of these people. I'd be interested to know, like in terms of touring and trying to get out there as a band, what are some of those logistical nightmares that you kind of run into?
Oh, a lot. All of it. Besides getting robbed. You get dude, I mean, to put on a show these days, it just takes a lot. You have to make sure that lighting is pristine. You have to rent a great package to do so. Maybe you're also wanting to get geysers, fire, whatever cool shit you can behind it. You're renting a drum riser. You're also, in a bus or a bandwagon, and you're pulling a trailer. So it's not just one person in a van. Plus, you also have your crew. You have guys that are helping you set up. You have a tour manager, sound engineer. You have merch person, photographer, videographer. It's a big ordeal.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Just the van. Yeah, just the vehicle and the trailers alone, because the amount of gear that these bands use, how much it all weighs, and the gas that they end up having to spend just getting from city to city, whereas an EDM DJ could just hop on a plane and fly real quick.
Yeah, they just need their backpack.
Spot to spot. Right.
Some of it gets simpler as you play bigger rooms. Like, for instance, I'm not up there using like big guitar cabinets and bass cabinets and all this kind of stuff because I'm going right into the house and it sounds awesome because I'm playing in front of a big room. But when you play in a smaller room, that's when you have to have some of that kind of stuff just to be able to, if you're a kid that's sitting in the front row in a 250 capacity room, you kind of need amps on stage in order for it to actually like be powerful and feel good. So as you get bigger and you're moving up in the touring circuit, you need less of that live music equipment because you have more stuff that's coming straight from your rack or your, computer or whatever it's going into the house, but you need to take a bigger lighting rig or, more things to make the show more exciting for fans, risers, stuff like that. Which is a cool thing about touring with other bands is because it can be like, okay, well, you're headlining and we're right before you. So can we use like half your lights? We'll give you some dough. We'll split it. And then like everyone looks cool. Yeah, sounds good. Thanks. And then that works out because then everyone can kind of.
There's a lot more of that than there ever has been before. Yeah.
And it feels very, just from what I'm getting from this conversation, it feels like it's a lot more collaborative in the live show space between bands. Whereas,
really has
I don't know if
be.
it's as collaborative as the touring aspect is much more collaborative for sure than probably. I don't know much about like EDM or hip hop touring, but it has to be collaborative because also it's just a lot of people to make sure that they get to and from every day. And when you're used to doing tours and everyone's not making a lot of money, you kind of create this family atmosphere where you're like, well, I just want to make sure everybody's good. And if somebody gets stuck, like we're going to go get them and we're going to make sure everybody gets to where they got to go because, it's it's important, you know, you
Yeah.
want everyone to have a nice experience, and then, you know, it makes things more carefree as the experience gets bigger and better.
Yeah. Also with that, because in our world, the set changes are chaos because there's one band trying to get drums, 2 guitar amps, bass amp, all of their pedals, their guitar, like all of that stuff packed up and off the stage, with the next band trying to load all of their stuff up, get it set up and tuned, all within 15 minutes.
Yeah, I did photos for a like ska band a couple years ago, and it's
Tight.
the only band I've ever shot. But
Okay.
their set change was like so long compared to what I'm used to, because I used to shoot all EDM, and all EDM is okay. Set ends, guy walks up, they swap the USBs, and they're ready.
Like it's literally like a minute or two.
Do you have to press
Yeah. Oh,
anything,
yeah.
or does like your whole
No.
set just play and you yell? That's
Um,
it. You just
No,
like
well,
have fun.
depends on the person.
Because
Yeah,
it's similar to
yeah.
metal, but I'm just curious. But that sounds awesome,
If
and I
it's
think I
someone
messed
like-
up.
If it's someone like a Lenium, he is somehow drumming off of his MIDI.
Yeah.
But if it's someone like
Calvin Harris.
Chainsmokers, oh yeah,
Yeah.
Calvin Harris probably. Chainsmokers, I would say is press and play.
Oh,
Yo,
look at
there's
that.
this one time I was in LA. I was doing a workout class with my mans, and then Diplo was in class, and I was like, "Nah, I didn't talk to Diplo, but he was there. He looked good." I was gonna say we became best friends. But no, yo, Diplo, if you're out there, be my best
Listen,
friend.
Out of everything
think
you
you're
guys told me,
pretty
I
cool.
would not be surprised if you just came up and be like, "Yeah, I'm hanging out at Diplo's." I'd be like,
Honestly.
"All right, you know what?"
He wishes, man. He wishes he could be my best friend.
With that being said, we're halfway through, so this is what we call our lightning round, where we just throw lightning all over the place. More importantly, we're going to hit you with the most random questions that we find on the internet, and you just have to say the first thing that comes to your head.
Oh, boy.
This is going to be fun, though, because we have 2 people for the first time, so you guys both have to answer. This is
All
going to be so much fun. All right, both of you, if you were to be reincarnated as an animal, what animal would it be?
Hyena.
Monkey.
Monkey. I like that one.
I like the hyena. I fucking
Hyena would be cool.
like the
Maybe
little
some sort of
laugh.
panther, like some badass cat. But I think monkey just sounds fun. And you
I
got-
always wanted to be a shark, but like in an aquarium.
Mm.
Oh,
You
shark.
never have to
on
worry about like,
vacation.
food. Yeah, you never have to worry about food. You get to swim through like fake pirate ships, and like everyone's just a homie. And
that'd
like
be
everyone
cool.
wants to take pictures with you.
That
Yeah, and you
sounds
get to
really
people
nice.
watch all day and make fun of the stupid looking humans.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's people watching at its finest.
Yeah.
Okay, if you guys could get a yacht, what would you name it?
Bitch.
Bitch.
Why would you not name it fit for
That's-
a king?
Oh my god.
Like it's literally your yacht. It's
Yeah, that's
fit for a
hilarious.
king.
Honestly, yeah, it would have to be. That would be the most fitting. It would have a really cool crown. I would wear a
I would
crown.
probably-
I would drink
Yeah.
crown. I would just be the king on my yacht.
Have
That
a
would be
throne.
really
Yeah,
cool,
the-
actually. That's a good idea, everybody. I should go get one. I'm gonna go do that now.
Yeah, the USS fit for a king.
Yeah. No, I call it the tugboat.
Or the tuck.
Oh, the tugboat?
Man. The tugboat. That's what Jared calls me. He calls me tugboat, my drummer.
Oh.
Yeah,
Interesting.
because I just bring the trash up the river, man. You know, it's just me riding along the Hudson, bro.
Oh god, I gotta find. All right, random question. Oh god. Oh god. Why are these like actually like not funny? What is? 101 random questions that really suck.
That
Ooh.
really suck.
That's hilarious.
Whoa. Oh, this is deep. I don't know. This is like relationship questions. What would you like your dying one word to be?
I could give the
Interesting.
same answer for that one I gave to the last one.
What,
Bitch.
bitch?
On my way out, bitch.
Or Bia.
It's inaudible. You don't even know.
You
what
guys
it
know that
means.
Dave Chappelle skit?
I have not seen
I have not
that.
seen it.
We're going to
Oh.
Oregon. They don't even remember what was it, Howard Dean, or is that the sausage? Some Dean, that Dean
Yeah,
guy
that's
that
Howard
ran for
Dean, yeah.
president. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's also this Dean sausages. I like the breakfast sausage. But
Jimmy Dean.
yeah. Yeah. We're going to Oregon.
You gotta watch it.
It's okay, guys. Sorry.
I know, that is
Yeah.
fine.
Wow. You're so young. You probably don't even care about Chappelle Show.
Right. Yeah.
That's crazy. Wow.
I mean, I've saw it on like my TV guide.
Check this
but
out. For the
I
old people
don't
looking at this, I got a Tamagotchi.
Ooh,
Do you even know what a
Tamagotchi.
Tamagotchi
I
is?
do know what a
I know what a
Tamagotchi
Tamagotchi
is.
is.
And guess
I
what?
do know what a Tamagotchi is.
That bitch is dead.
He's been dead for years.
Yeah, my sister gave it to me for Christmas, and I just can't take care of anything, you know? It's tough. You got to be on that Tamagotchi all the time. What were we answering? Final word.
Final word.
Yeah, interesting. That's my word.
Interesting.
That is your word.
Yeah.
It's a good word.
Glorious.
Glorious.
Something champion. Something majestic.
It'll be on your gravestone.
I don't know.
We'll lock in majestic.
Majestic.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Locked in Family Feud majestic is on the board. Christian, close
All right.
off with the final question.
All right, here we go. If you were a wicked tyrant, what country would you rule?
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Not a country.
I know that was.
It'll be a country. It'll be his country.
Excuse
Oh
me, it should be a
man.
country.
What was the name of Peter Griffin's country?
Pretoria or something. I don't know.
Victoria. Yeah. Is Easter Island a country?
I don't know. Is it part of a country? I think it might be part of a country.
Yeah, it's just like way out there in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So I
What's
don't
the
know.
coolest? I would
Antarctica.
rule-
Antarctica. Rule the penguins.
Yeah.
That'd
like
be
that.
sick.
It's an army.
An
That's
army of
Take
penguins.
over- I'm gonna go take over like Denmark. I'm gonna hang out in Copenhagen. I'm gonna go to Christiania. I'm gonna hang out there. I'm gonna be the king of that spot. Nobody even knows, and that's why it'll be cool. And nobody really messes with Denmark. Like you got
It's true.
beef with Denmark, you're an idiot. Like why?
No one-
What's
no
your
one-
problem?
Denmark.
For
Nobody.
what purpose?
Copenhagen.
What
It's a cool word. So there we go. That's all I got. I got Denmark.
Christian, I'm gonna lock in Sealand.
Sealand?
Wow.
Yeah, Sealand is it's just a platform in the middle of the ocean. It's 12 kilometers off of Suffolk, wherever the hell that is.
How much do you think a Ben and
Can I
Jerry's
change my
cost?
answer to a digital world?
Sure, go for it.
Like the sandbox or one of those worlds inside the metaverse?
Oh yeah, we can do that.
Let's
Let's go for
deep.
it.
Yeah.
I still think Jersey should be a country.
I still, yeah.
It'll be your country,
I-
Tuck.
Yeah. Honestly, Texas is gonna end up being a country, and everyone's gonna be
It
like, "Wow,
might.
Fit for the Kings is the." We're gonna come up with the Texas super national anthem when they become a country, and it's gonna be the heaviest one ever. And then everyone's gonna be like, "Wow, oh my gosh, Fit for the Kings is the best band in the whole country because it's
They wrote the national anthem for
They wrote the
Texas.
national anthem.
Yeah, it'll be super. Cool.
I don't know about that. Everyone's starting to move to Texas. I feel like
Texas.
Yeah, all those Californians
everyone moved
moving
to
to
Austin.
Texas to try and flip the vote.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
problem. We live in Texas now, so
Yeah,
I
everyone
don't know if
left
they
California and went over there. I don't
care.
really
United
know.
States is like, yeah.
Did you see that Caitlyn Jenner's running for governor of California?
That'll be fun.
That's cool.
That'll be fun to watch.
I heard Dr. Drew was going to run for governor of California, and I think that Dr. Drew
All
should
the
be governor of
celebrities. Every
California.
celebrity should run.
Dr. Drew's
Everyone.
a sick dude. Like, man, go listen to Dr. Drew After Dark. That podcast is hilarious. He'll teach you all sorts of just gross shit.
Sponsored
See,
by
awesome.
Dr. Drew.
Yeah, for real. I'm-
We were sponsored by Bubbly when we started this, and now we're sponsored by Dr. Drew. So
Wow.
check it out.
That's
Oh.
awesome.
All right. So with that, getting back into this virtual. All right, we're gonna start off with this. We're gonna because you brought up virtual world, Jeff,
Yeah.
and this is gonna really take us down a rabbit hole. I'm gonna try and connect it to music. But if any of you guys heard of this platform that I continuously get ads for called Earth 2.
No, but I'm gonna look it up right now because it sounds fun.
There is literally a website that is a virtual Earth, and it's basically the second version of Earth, and it's only on the interweb. And basically, you can buy little pieces of that Earth on a digital
Yes.
map.
So this
and
is
you can buy
exactly
and sell
similar.
the digital land.
This is similar to the metaverse.
Yeah, so you can basically like buy, like I could buy Australia for like 18,000 USD.
Oh yeah, I can see.
That's
yeah.
sick.
Oh, see now the metaverse isn't based on Earth. It's just made up places.
See, this is actually based
Is
on
it a flat Earth?
Shut up.
maybe a flat Earth. But
You
I
caught me
did
in
try to buy
podcast
my
mode.
house, and it would cost like $180 to like buy my house. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. It's
You
already
should
my
do
house.
it.
But
Why not?
do you know how many people have started buying land on Earth too? Because I know the metaverse land has started skyrocketing sales.
Yeah, they've been skyrocketing like crazy stuff. Like someone like sold the Bahamas the other day to someone and made like 200 grand.
No way.
Yeah,
Aw,
'cause
man.
I told the owner of the
Is it already
masquerade, I'm
too
like, we need
late?
to open, we need to buy land in these digital spots, and we need to open up a digital masquerade so we can have digital concerts for these VR people.
That's what I'm saying. We need to have digital Earths with digital land, and we own it. And when we host digital concerts, and you have to walk there in your digital universe with your digital character and your digital fucking car.
Why
to go
don't
to
we
your
buy?
fucking
I mean,
concert.
or not even a venue, just buying like a whole lot of land and building like a festival ground inside the digital landscapes.
I don't know. I don't know if they let you build. It's just like land right now.
No, on the
No, you
metaverse you can build, and you can hire
Oh, on the
property
metaverse?
managers. You can hire property managers and stuff who will. Oh, it's
This
crazy.
shit's deep.
Let me
Some
find the. I'm
digital
gonna find the
investment.
This
website
is
and send
some
it to you.
Matrix shit.
This is
awesome.
deep. The metaverse.
Going into the Matrix. I just want everyone to know I am a non-fungible token.
Just you,
I am
you alone.
selling.
I am not even real. I'm not
as a
even here.
non-fungible token.
I'm yeah.
Nick, I'm texting you a link to this property
That's
management
another,
company inside the
when it
metaverse.
Because that's what's crazy. I'm hoping when concerts come back, this stuff kind of like calms down. Because
Yeah.
like I want to go to a concert. I don't know about you guys. Call me
Oh,
old fashioned. Call me whatever.
No, I would
to
go.
a concert.
I think it won't calm down completely, but a ton. But there's definitely going to be at least 20 to 30% of the population who starts down this path of living their life scared and indoors more. And then they're going to have kids, and those kids are going to get grown up in that. So it's going to start where this whole people living indoors connected to machines, like I think the pandemic, it really started down the path towards that a lot quicker than it would have came.
Yeah. It makes
Before-
people's lives more minimalistic. And if you already are like pretty disinterested with the world, I mean, you live in a tiny apartment, you live in a VR world, you eat microwavable mac and cheese, and that's your life. Like,
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like the
and
tiny
it's gonna
house.
happen.
You take
Yeah.
the tiny house movement with the pandemic and people being afraid of germs movement, with eventually the VR stuff becoming affordable for everybody, like a PlayStation. And once those three things combine, then yeah, you're gonna have a lot of people in these worlds, and the land will become valuable.
You're gonna have virtual tuck.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I honestly, I find it actually, it'll be pretty cool. Honestly, I would give myself about an extra 6 inches in height if I was able to be, you know,
Me too.
if I was able to be in the VR world, you know. But it's funny talking about, you know, I made the NFT joke too, but that's another thing that if this VR world does expand, I am very interested to see what artists continue to do with NFTs and how they grow with it, because there is a way for it to be, you know, chained and used as a royalty throughout, you know, future sales as well. But that's one of the most interesting things I think as a musician I've seen that's come my way in a minute, where I was like, ooh, I could literally sell an NFT that's a pic. Like, for instance, I won't use the exact example. I could sell an NFT of a picture of just my face, and label can't have any of that. Like nobody else can really have any of that except for, maybe I split it with my band if it has to do with the live performance type thing. But it's going to, I think it's going to be a fantastic tool for all artists, but especially DIY artists and people that are able to, create a large fan base and have unique enough personal content to make people interested in it as a NFT.
So with that, with our last 4 minutes, speaking of ways to make money, for the people out there, what the fuck is Featured X?
Wow. All right. Featured X is a platform for any musician, artist, singer, songwriter, guitar player, bassist, drummer, keyboardist, graphic designer, photographer, videographer, anybody that's interested in working and commingling with other musicians in a collaborative format. So if you're trying to get yourself, put yourself out there as a singer, guitar player, etc., and you want people to hire you to sing on a song, you can sign up. And then if you would also like to hire other more notable musicians to sing on your song, all you have to do is go to the website, submit a song, comes with the lyrics, timestamp, rough idea of what they're trying to do. The artist then logs into a profile, listens to the song. If they like it, they hit accept and they agreed to do it. You pay, and then it's an equal exchange for everybody. You get the file and that song is yours for the remainder of time. So it goes kind of both ways. You have multiple opportunities within it, but platform for musicians to be collaborative.
Hell yeah. And
There
check
we
out featuredx.com. And with that, I'm going to close this out. If anybody here wants more information, check out featuredx.com on Instagram. You check out Artist Republic on Instagram. If you also liked Ryan and Jeff, you can leave us a 5-star rating, because if you don't, Jeff or Ryan may show up while you're sleeping. So if you don't leave us a 5-star rating,
that's how we roll.
Sleep with one eye open.
Honestly.
And with that being said, we are out.